Seems like things get worse and worse and worse for Miko in Mieruko-chan. This is my thoughts on episode 6 of the series, so let's jump into it. Yeah, interestingly enough, a lot more focus this episode on Hana than so much on Miko, as we we get to follow Hana for quite a little bit, and it gives us a like perspective of how pure and great Hana is at the same time. Always this kind of more ditzy, bubbly, Genki character, but she's got a really good heart. As yes, we kind of follow her as, well, at first it kind of shows Miko and Hana, they're buying some sweets, and at some point, Miko notices a really huge, very horrific looking ghost that we find out later ends up following Hana. We, of course, get a little perspective of Hana as she wakes up. She's like, man, my clock's messed up again. Man, that bulb is going out again. I just replaced that. Seems like whatever's following her around is messing with things. But yeah, eventually she finds this poor kid that's missing his dog. And so she fights her fears and goes into this haunted, abandoned building where she looks around for this particular dog. It was so goofy because like this big horrific ghost that's following around is picking up little guys and frying them on Hana's chest and stuff before he eats it. Very weird. It also implies that her aura gets stronger the more she eats. Which I guess works out well for her because the stuff that she consumes, I guess technically Miko made a joke about where it all goes, but man, I'm very jealous of how much she can eat and not gain weight. Yeah, it was so funny because technically with her perspective, this equally as ours, is this idea of, okay, she's going in this abandoned warehouse and you're assuming that this dog is going to be some little cute puppy, but no, it's this huge dog that she carries out. I'm like, man, on top of that weight that she's carrying, she's also carrying a dog, so girl's got some strength. But yeah, then we, of course, jump to Miko meeting with Hana again. She's like, I'm sorry, I was trying to help a dog out. And then Miko notices that, yes, this horrific-looking thing that was the other day is now following Hana around. And so she decides, instead of going to the movies, we're going to go to a hot spot instead. We're going to go all the way up to the shrine to where this hot spot is and go there instead. Hana's like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool, let's do that. I always like how, like I said, technically Genki, ditzy type character Hana is, but she's just kind of, wants to do fun things, and I really do like that. But yeah, when they arrive at this shrine, they are doing their prayers, and Miko's just praying, please get rid of this thing, please get rid of this thing, please get rid of this thing. And this thing where things get like really crazy. We have like, poor Miko is literally standing in the middle of like some crazy psychotic spiritual battle that's just going off. And of course, the moment that I seen these other two standing next to this beast, I assumed they were going to be like some sort of divine beings that are helping her, because obviously they have like more like a light zigzag outline around them. They said something, I couldn't make out exactly. It sounded English. They said something before they try to attack this thing and it just destroys them. And yeah, they go in and take a picture, and Hana's getting all set up, and Miko's just trying to figure out what the heck is happening behind her. This big, huge thing shows up and just consumes the whole thing. And they're just standing there with a picture. There's just like these legs hanging out the top of it the entire time she's taking the picture. Oh, I feel so bad. Like, exactly. It's like that idea that when you're hanging out with somebody and their mind is somewhere else, and you're like, hey, dude, are you listening to me kind of moment? It's kind of that with Miko all the time. As somebody's talking to her, Miko is just in this other world, dealing with this other situation. I mean, it was technically in the bakery at the very beginning. She's like dealing with this thing saying, pick me, take me out of here, take me out of here. And she's like, huh, did you say something? It's the same situation here. Hana just wants to take a picture, and the entire time Miko is experiencing this crazy spiritual battle that's happening around her. I feel so bad. But something really odd happens after this, after the picture, is Hana kind of goes walking off, and this big spiritual being that saved her technically is talking to these other two small ones, and then goes to Miko and says 3 times. And then I at the time when she said that, I thought that it was implying that, I think I could be wrong here because I didn't look it up before I did this. There's a system when you do a prayer at these shrines. It's like you say something like 3 times, and then you clap like 3 times, and you say it or something like that. Its emphasis is on 3, if I remember correctly. So I thought that it was telling her you didn't do it 3 times or something like that. But then she said that the thing did something to her before it left. So I'm wondering if the thing marked her that it will protect her 3 times. That's what I'm getting from it. is that she now has 3 protections from something. Like, she prayed for safety and to be helped, and this thing granted her the protection 3 times of something. So I'm assuming that maybe later down the road, when she runs into something else even more horrific, she has the opportunity to fight back, but only 3 times. And then I guess you'll have to go back to the spot and pray again. But it's definitely interesting. That's what I'm getting from that, because she said it did something before it disappeared or something. Like, it did something to her, which I hope so, because it seems like the things that she's running into lately are just getting worse and worse. But it's definitely sad because it kind of sets up for worse stuff in the future that she's gonna have to deal with. But yeah, sadly no Julia. We got plenty of Julia last episode, so I guess they just decided to kick her out of the show. I will admit, I'm gonna finally be kind of down on something. I will admit I didn't like the aftercast thing, because it was like, we already knew what it was going to be. I mean, we've already technically done this before, where she's looking at things and she doesn't see it. I feel like I don't know if that was in the source material or not, but it's like, please don't do that every single episode now. Like, oh, we're going to do the thing where she doesn't see things, and then we'll show you after the cast. I mean, unless you do something clever with it, don't bother. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Mieruko-chan episode 6. Solid episode. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this 3 thing is. Like I said, I think it's probably protection, but we'll have to wait and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. And you all take care.